Hi, everyone. It's Kelly from the Hub here today, of course, with our friend Pastor Jim from Bergstrasse. How are you there, friend?
Good morning. I'm
Morning.
pretty well. Yourself?
Hey, hanging in there, doing the stuff.
It's Tuesday. It looks good outside.
But you know me, it's January. If it's going to be cold, snow, man, snow.
Well,
I know.
the weather is they're supposed to have snow showers tonight.
Well, okay.
They'll disappear by morning. So
See, I don't need snow showers. And I've always said, like, 2 inches, 3 inches. Yeah. Okay, so today we're talking. I know.
shut everything down.
Right. So today we're talking about, well, there's 100 things that we're going to talk about, but we're going to talk about this program that Pastor does at Bergstrasse that I think is that like other towns model. It's a really cool community thing. It's about being a good shepherd. So he can explain it, and then I will talk about my experience and all the stuff. So you first.
So I love these setups.
I know. I need to watch Oprah a little bit more for the setups because I'm like, okay, this Lord, that was horrible.
So we should have these little sheep right now too, going across the screen.
I know.
So first of all, thank you, Kelly, for wanting to talk about this, what I lovingly call our shepherding program, just because it's really about shepherding. It's really about taking care of other people.
Yeah.
And if you know anything about shepherds and shepherding, the job of a shepherd is very challenging. Not because it's outside.
Well, because sheep are all over the place, man.
Sheep have a mind of their own.
Yeah.
And they are everywhere.
Uh-huh.
The reason they have the sheepdogs, because the sheepdogs can run a heck of a lot faster than the shepherds and shepherdesses, and they just gather them all in and whatever. But
right. Sheep have things to do. Sheep have agendas. Sheep have all of these things. Sheep don't sometimes give a darn about shepherds.
They get into places where they shouldn't be, and but you know what? If we wouldn't get their wool, we wouldn't have some warm clothing.
That's true. Right. And sometimes these little sheep need to have a moment where they're like, hey, it's more than just you, man.
Hey, yes, you're part of a flock.
Right. You're part of a flock.
You're part of a group.
So let's behave like a flock for a little bit. Right.
Yes. Even though you scatter out, they'll bring you back in a little bit.
Right.
So this actually began almost a year ago. Almost a year ago when we had made the decision at Bergstrasse that we were no longer going to meet in person for worship. So that was sometime in the middle of March. I'm sure all of us are looking forward to, remembering that day. And I met with my leadership team, and they said to me, we'll call everybody. You've got enough other stuff to do. We'll call everybody and keep in contact with them and tell them what's going on. And I was like, wow, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. And they did it. The members of the leadership team, someone said, okay, you've got this group, you've got this group, you've got this group, you've got this group, you've got this group. Just check in with them periodically.
Yeah.
Over the next couple weeks, however this goes. So then the time came where we had gotten back together again for in-person worship in July. And I realized that some of that contacting wasn't going on anymore because we were meeting in person.
Right.
And some people were saying about how they really liked that when somebody gave me a call just to say hello.
Yeah.
Just to say hello. And so that's when I went into the idea of, well, maybe we should do this shepherding program. And there are other programs similar out there to this.
Yeah.
But this one is unique to us in that I have 8 shepherds. I have 8 men and women.
And I was really glad, because when you told me that you have both men and women, I think that could easily become a like gender normative thing and say, oh, that women do this and men don't do this. And so I'm super glad that it's both men and women. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah. The 2 men in particular are both very they're both very outgoing,
Yeah.
and they appreciate people, which is one of the characteristics of all 8 of these shepherd people, where they really enjoy the company of people. And I proposed this to the whole congregation, what I was looking about to do and continue this, and that it would be something that would go on indefinitely. And when I thought I only had 4 people, I ended up with 8. And I divided the list up, our membership list, and because I do that because you don't need to be a member at Bergstrasse to be in our flock. That's another conversation. But so I went through the directory that we had, and I just started assigning, kind of like name, name, name. I gave it out to the 8 shepherds, and I said, so here's the thing we're going to do. You may give your folks a call, email, text. You figure out what's going to be best for you and what's going to work for them. And most of them, I think, have all done just phone calls. They may have done some other, whatever. And I said, we're going to get together periodically just, to bring you all in. You're shepherding a small flock. I'm going to bring us all in together, and we're going to talk about how it's going. Our first time that we did that was let's see, this is January. So that was in October. And I said, okay, I've got 15 names here yet of people that I did not include for a variety of reasons. And they said, why did you not give them to us?
They're so awesome.
So we divvied them up and whatever. And so this past Sunday, the shepherds and I met together just to kind of check in and see how they're doing. And it's like, I was like, as much as I try to do my best to teach them what it means to be in relationship with one another, they were teaching me also to be in relationship with one another. And I think that's one of the things that I think it's one of the things right now that's one of our greatest gifts. And I'm going to call it one of our COVID gifts.
So I'm one of the lambs. They're called my shepherd calls her group her little lambs, and I'm one of the little lambs. And my shepherd had been trying to reach me for a while, and it was a challenge to do that. And she called on Friday afternoon, and I had never talked to her before. I don't know her. I've never met her in person before. She sent me a holiday card, which is lovely, a lovely sentiment inside. It was lovely. I knew that this shepherd program was going on, and I knew I was a lamb, but I hadn't talked to it was all my fault. And I talked to my shepherd for 15 minutes on the phone on Friday, and it was wonderful. So one of the biggest reasons that I wanted to, so then today, this morning, I said to Pastor Jim, I talked to my shepherd and we had a lovely time. And he said, I know she told me on Sunday because she wanted, so Friday morning, apparently, she was kvetching, as my Yiddish friends would say, about not getting a hold of me because, sometimes I suck at life. And so then she got a hold of me, and then we chatted, had a wonderful time. And then she told Pastor on Sunday, and then I told him today. And I think that this is fantastic. So some of you are probably like, well, you don't even know this woman. What are you talking about? Okay. Some of you are probably thinking, is the point of this that you are guilt tripping people to come back to church? And the answer is that's not even, okay. If that was the case, I would have hung up the phone in a minute, because I don't do that for anybody. Like, if it's a family member, we're not guilt tripping anybody into doing anything. This is about connecting and saying hi and how are you and whatever it is you talk about. This isn't like, there isn't like an ulterior motive. And that's why I think it's successful.
So yeah.
You're hilarious, because you're like, there's so many things I'm going to tell you.
I know. I have so many things I could just share about this. It's like, I just want to share. So first of all, God does not guilt any of us into anything.
Right. Hello.
We think that.
Right.
God doesn't guilt us.
Right.
So why would I want any of my shepherds to guilt any of the sheep that have strayed or whatever?
Right.
And I'm going to be honest with you, when I said about earlier, about there were like 15-ish people or whatever, they were people that we haven't seen in quite some time. And every one of them, when they were contacted by a shepherd, said, "Thank you for remembering me. Thank you for thinking about me." And it's like, if that's all that we can do is that, I'm like, yay, thank you.
Because truly, okay, whether you're working or retired or close to your family or not, who uses this to make a phone call to just say hi? Without, can you send me money? Can you do this? Can you?
So I have to tell you, so one of the fun stories on Sunday was that one of my shepherds made the comment, because we were just going around and just saying, is there anything that you want to share with the whole group that might be helpful for others as we continue to do this work together? And this particular shepherd said something about, well, because I thought this one household was just kind of reluctant to talk to me the first time I called, and and we went on for a couple of minutes, and then they said, "Are you trying to get me to come back to church again?" And this person laughed and said, "No, I just want to let you know that you're cared about." And I said, "Thank you." And I said, that's what we all need to remember here.
Yep.
This is not about making somebody feel bad, but it's about letting us know that we are all connected.
Yep.
Do we all agree on certain things and everything? Heck no.
Yeah. And you know what? Knowing that someone is openly wants to connect with me, I think you automatically, as a human, the stuff you have, your walls, your prickliness, whatever that stuff is, when someone calls you and is like, hey, okay, remember, I told you, I don't know my shepherd. I could run into her cart at the grocery store and I would be like, oh, hi. And she would be like, I don't know who you are. Like, so having someone who I don't even know, and a lot of the shepherds know their lambs. That's a whole other thing. But I don't even know this woman. And to have her call and connect with me means she's good. And I'm not really trying to oversimplify that. I mean that she cares. And she cares about me, who she doesn't know.
But
And that's so cool.
she knows that you are loved by God, to say it in those kind of words. And she knows that you matter. And that's our work. And that's our work. Just to encourage one another, to let them know that you matter.
So this is one of those things that, like some of you are thinking, oh, yeah, church program, blah, blah, blah. I know that I've absolutely read about towns that have a similar kind of program, especially rural towns who have like shut-ins or not very mobile seniors or whatever, that they call up and check on those people. And if they don't get a hold of them on the phone, they send police over for a wellness check. And that Meals on Wheels is, you can absolutely say, Meals on Wheels is a daily check-in by someone who cares to make sure that you're okay, to make sure when you knock on the door, even if you might not physically give the food to that person anymore because of COVID stuff, you're still saying hi, how are you? It's good to see you. And that kind of stuff matters. And so I have to tie this into our last week conversation, because last week we talked about the call to action with love. And there are some people who are like, yeah, great, what am I going to do? And this is something that you could do. And it's funny because, this has been going on for almost like a half a year, 7 months.
It's almost a year.
Yeah, at Bergstrasse, and there's lots of those kinds of things. That shows that that's a big deal. That's how you heal. For me anyway, that's how you heal.
Absolutely. And I mean, it was just a wonderful gift to see this group of shepherds sitting around a table, socially distanced and wearing masks.
Yep.
And they were all just sharing how they were blessed.
Right, because if you have never volunteered or given like that, you realize how much, and you don't do it for this, but you realize how much you get back
and
when you give.
One of the shepherds made a comment that when they received their list from me, they were saying, Pastor Jim, I don't know hardly any of these people. Who are they?
That's my shepherd. That's my shepherd.
And all I said was, they are friends of God and they are friends of mine. And they want to be friends of yours. And I have to tell you, this particular shepherd has come back and has named at least 2 of her flock that she has never really met in person. But she said, they are adorable. They understand love. They understand compassion and care for one another. And that's one of the things that I think that we as people are really yearning for these days.
Yeah.
There are so many voices in the world around us that just seem to create distrust or disunity and whatever. But to know that you get a phone call that might last 2 or 3 minutes, or maybe 15 or 20 minutes, from someone that you don't know a whole lot about, you just know their name, and for them to care about you. Can you imagine the world? Can you imagine the world and how much better it would be for us if we did that?
I mean, it's, I know. It's like, have a Coke and a smile. I'd like to teach the world to sing. We could all do that. I get that. But so it's also true.
Exactly.
Like, as Pollyanna as that is, that's also very true.
And this particular program took very little effort.
Right. And it's not right. And it didn't cost a thing.
it's all steeped in desire and love for one another. That's it. And the sheep, the Bergstrasse sheep, did not know who their shepherd was. I mean,
Right.
was lever. And the other thing, that I also did when I created these lists were I had the shepherds check in on other shepherds.
Right. So that the shepherds felt part, so that they weren't just
Yeah.
giving, they could also receive.
So they were also on someone else's list. So it was like when they started getting those calls, they were like, huh, huh, huh. And they
Like,
realized,
wait, someone cares about me? I'm just supposed to do
we
all the
know
caring.
we know what he did here. This is cool.
So so let's say you're at Rotary and you don't get to see everybody. Or let's say you had a mom's group and you don't get to see everybody. This could just be a way. Or whatever. I mean, truly, your company.
Yes. Yes.
A lot of us are working from home. This is my house. And we do this at the library.
Mm-hmm.
We text because that's what we all just do that. But we regularly just do a little, hey, how are you? Hey, I haven't seen you in a bit. How are things? Just to check in, not to send me a blah, 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 give me a, hey, how are you?
Right. So this is also one of the things that because I'm going to use the word proud, but I don't like that word.
You're allowed.
Because I'm proud of what the folks of Bergstrasse are doing. I've told others about it also. I've told other pastor friends about this. And I said, the true gift was that they asked for it without even asking for it.
Right.
Or not even knowing what they were asking for. And I am aware of at least 3 congregations who are doing similar things, who are doing similar ministry outlets today.
Yeah.
And 2 of them are not in Lancaster County.
I just love it. I think I don't know, maybe it's because of the work that I do. I mean, Pastor Jim and I are givers. We do this all the damn time. And it's very draining. It can be very exhausting. So for someone to give to us, well, first of all, it throws you for a loop because you don't expect it. But second of all, it really just sort of, it was like, huh. And I allowed myself to receive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The hardest. Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. So this is your week 2 of Call to Action with Love.
Call to action with love. And this is an example of how to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Have a wonderful week, everybody. We'll see you later.
Have a great week. Bye.